The nation has been seized by thousands of drone sightings in the last month, causing widespread alarm. But the House Intelligence Committee reported yesterday there are no imminent threats or evidence of any involvement by foreign actors. President Biden said there's nothing nefarious going on. And joining me now, Homeland Security Secretary Alejandro Mayorkas. Mr. Secretary, thank you very much. I want to talk about the drones because people are very concerned about it. I know you've been on the record about this. You've said you know of no foreign involvement, that there's no threat. The White House has said that as well. No national security threat, no threat to public safety. But officials haven't told us what they don't know. You know, you're going through all the sightings, and a lot of these tips are false alarms. They're, you know, manned aircraft, regular landings, they're helicopters, they're commercial drones, delivery drones. And there is the change in 2023 that permitted night flying by drones, and that means that with the lights, they're much more visible. But is there something else going on that you're not familiar with that is not explainable?
Andrea, let me restate what we've said previously. It's very important. We know of no threat to people's security. And if we learn of any cause for concern, we will take action and we will communicate immediately with the American public. There are, and there have been, thousands and thousands of drones flown across the United States for years. Commercial drones, recreational drones, law enforcement drones. I spoke with an expert yesterday who has recorded over his home in California over the past 6 years more than 13,000 drone detections. And so this is actually not a new phenomenon. What we need in the federal government is we need our authorities to catch up with the development of drone activity over the last 10 years. And so we have asked Congress for not only an extension of our authorities, but an expansion of them.
What authorities do you need?
We, for example, need the ability, as the president-elect has communicated, the authority to take down drones when the situation so warrants. We believe our authority in that regard is quite limited. We believe that state and local officials, law enforcement officials, should have counter-drone authorities with appropriate safeguards. And so we're hopeful that in this moment, because of the public's concern, which we well understand, Congress will give us those expanded authorities.
Is there a danger to commercial aircraft with all of this increased activity of drones, as there has been from lasers, for instance?
So there have been times when drones are flown over restricted airspace that has, in fact, impacted the course of aircraft. They've altered their flight plans as needed. And so we just have to be able to really respond appropriately when, in fact, drones most often just errantly are flown in areas where they should not be.
So are we getting to the point where there are so many drones that there should be limits on how many can be licensed?
Well, currently, there are over 1 million drones licensed. You know, there was a small drone that crashed into a home in New Jersey. It turned out to be a recreational drone that a young person was operating and either misoperated or the battery failed, as is often the case in very cold weather. The FAA will be looking at its regulatory regime, as it always does, as the landscape evolves.
Let me ask you about what is arguably a much more serious threat, which has not received nearly as much attention, which is Salt Typhoon. And this is China, despite their denials. The U.S. government says that China has gotten into U.S. telecom companies, Verizon, AT&T, and others, and that this breach is ongoing. Talk to me about this. How did they get in, and how can it still be ongoing? Usually, when these things happen, there's a hack. The government, the agent, and the companies tell us, we found the malware, we found what it is. This is still going on?
Andrea, you correctly described this as a very, very serious matter. China has, in fact, hacked into our telecommunications providers, some of them. and the extent of it is quite serious. And I should say that in response to that, we have taken action. We in the federal government have stood up a unified coordination group, a multi-agency response to this hack. Just today, our Cybersecurity and Infrastructure Security Agency published mobile communications best practices that everyone should read, especially people in positions of responsibility in the United States government. It's a very sophisticated hack. I can't speak publicly to how it occurred, but the telecom providers are focused intensely on it, and they are working in partnership with us to remediate it.
But how long has this been going on? Months?
It is not an overnight hack. This is a very sophisticated one.
And it's still going on.
And it is still going on. And China is very active in this space. We have taken action. The president spoke publicly about the actions that are being taken. And so we do not just stand idly by. We respond both from a remediation perspective and also a response perspective to a nation state's actions that impact the well-being of the American public.
The New York Times is reporting today that they've been able to access telephone numbers and map Chinese intelligence assets within this country.
Yeah, so I don't want to speak publicly. I don't want to in any way invade the province of classified holdings, but I can assure you and the American public that we are quite vigilant in our response and working under the leadership of tremendous expertise.
There's no denial there of what esteemed colleague David Sanger at the New York Times is reporting today, who has written books on...
Esteemed colleague is correct.
Okay, on cyber, and also that the administration is considering, and it's under a 30-day
review the proposal with respect to China Telecom.
So that wouldn't that proposal be more symbolic than otherwise, since they've already been limited by previous actions taken against China Telecom, the bad actor here?
It's very important to send a message, and the message has substance to it. It's not purely symbolic.